We did it.
Yeah, nice.
Woo.
In fact, I just finished up doing my tax return stuff, and for the first time in years, I'm getting a refund.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what exactly changes, but this time I'm making money instead of paying money.
Nice. That's always a good feeling.
Yep. Looking forward to that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What have you been up to this week?
Nothing too special. I mean, I've been playing video games and whatnot, but that's what we're here to talk about in the main show. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Oh, I guess I started a show called Archive 81 on Netflix. It's a little
Okay.
series about, I think it's 8 episodes or whatever, and it's about it's apparently based on a podcast, I think, of the same name, but the idea is that this main character dude kind of stumbles onto, he likes to like, he cleans up some like old VHS tape or something like that was in a fire, and gets kind of scouted by doing so by a dude or company or something that owned that building and wants him to kind of like fix up these other tapes that were burnt in the fire that need to be like fixed or whatever, so they could see what's on it, and what's on it might be kind of nefarious and creepy.
This is a horror show. I am immediately no longer interested.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
Google it.
It's been pretty good. Um
Okay.
Also, I started a show called Abbott Elementary, which is
Sounds
essentially The
familiar.
Office for an elementary school, but like not as well
Oh,
written as The Office, but it's fun.
okay. Is that also Netflix?
That one I think is Peacock. That I don't know what it
Oh,
is
wow.
up here because I don't have
Oh, okay.
Peacock.
Yeah, you get okay. Don't think I've ever actually used Peacock.
Yeah,
Now that I think about it.
I think it might be on there. I can't remember what it's on, but yeah, that show is fine as a comedy little
Okay.
thing. It's fun.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm trying to think. Did I start anything? Yeah, no, we started Attack on Titan.
Okay. You had watched this before, right? Or is this your
Never.
first time ever? Okay. What do you
First
think?
time. So we've watched 3/4 of the first episode
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
before my girlfriend got too tired and wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah, so like you literally just started. I thought maybe like you meant we just started as in we're like 10 episodes deep in the first season or
Nope,
something.
this was just last night.
Okay.
We just started that. We're doing the dub for those curious.
Sure.
We usually always do the dub. It's just like more convenient to watch the dub.
Sure.
Um, yeah, because we got all caught up on My Hero, so we're like, well, time to start something else
Yeah.
while we wait for the next season to come. So, yeah, I don't really have any opinion on it at the moment. It's all just like set dressing,
Yep.
creepy naked giants.
It starts off pretty intense, at least, I guess. It starts off right from the get go, like those Titans are attacking right away. So
Yeah,
there's that.
yeah. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. I've been hearing great things about it for years, obviously. So, finally gonna check that one out.
Cool.
And I would just quickly say that Turning Red is really good. That came out last weekend.
I still haven't watched that one, but yes.
I think you'll like it. I think you should look forward to it. I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, things are starting to come out for sure. So that's just on the list.
Well, nice thing is there's nothing really out this weekend, so there's a new movie for you.
Yeah, there's nothing new out this weekend,
Yeah.
so that's good. Just TV shows and stuff.
But that's enough about TV shows. We have a whole other podcast for that. Let's
We
talk
do.
about video games. Because
Okay.
this is the top-down perspective, and I'm Sean Booker,
I'm Paul Fleck.
and the date is March 17th.
Yes, it is.
What you been playing, Paul?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, first of all, I guess.
Oh, right. Is that
That's
today or
today.
tomorrow?
It's today.
That's today.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not wearing green, so
Not.
nobody
Not wearing
pinched you
any
today,
green.
did they? You would have known.
I mean, I didn't leave my house today.
Oh, okay. Fair.
I'm not wearing any green whatsoever.
Fair enough.
Are
Well,
you?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
But if you show us, we'd have to
We'd be
change
banned
the
off
adult
Twitch.
rating.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Actually from MeUndies, not a sponsor yet. Call me. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
I played more Elden Ring, but like
Hey, me
it
too.
but it's kind of a farce that it's on here because I played more the next day after we did the last podcast, but that day was about 15 hours worth, like the next time I played, and then I haven't played
Jeez.
since. So this week I kind of haven't played it. But I
Are you
wrapped up
done?
yeah, I wrapped up Elden Ring. I did what I'm going to call 100% completion because every fight that I looked up a list. Every fight I was missing is a refight of a boss I fought at least twice before, like the mini bosses. I fought all the major different bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Cool.
I'm
Well,
done that thing.
congratulations. What was your time count?
102 hours, and that
Wow.
doesn't include that afterwards. I just kind of put my sign down in front of like different boss doors and saw if I could help people for a couple hours as well,
Oh, how
just
nice
to
of you.
keep playing,
Way to go.
just to keep playing.
Cool.
And I found out by doing that what the things people don't like are. That it's this one cave that it's hard to explain without telling the boss, and I don't want to give away anything like that because I think that's kind of fun, is finding out the boss for yourself. But I think it's called the Celia Highway or Celia Crystal Caves or something. And then there was another one with like this other type of boss, and I got some into that like 3 or 4 times because those are the things people don't want to do. Apparently, they've
Okay.
probably died a few times on it, and they're like, "Just get me out of this. Just let me finish this thing." So
Yeah. Those names don't sound familiar, so I don't think I'm there yet. Where am
sure,
I? I've beaten the first castle. Then I went east and I did Sophia River, and that place was messed up.
yeah,
Those arrows do way too much damage.
those
That was
snipers are ridiculous. They never
it.
miss.
It was just complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Um, and so I got a co-op partner to come in, and we did that one. And then I went north from the castle, and now I'm just starting to do some of the optional dungeons there.
Okay.
I'm a little over 20 hours, character levels in the low 40s.
Okay. Cool. Do you have like a build you're going with, or like a weapon type, or something that you are preference or preferring over
I
others?
mean, I like my sword and shield, so I
Okay.
usually stick to a sword and shield. And then when it comes to my build, it's usually put stuff into health, strength, or magic until I come across an item that I can't equip yet that I want, and then I just put everything in that. So like recently, I wanted to equip this like black fireball.
Sure.
I needed 20 faith, so the last 4 levels was putting it into that.
Okay.
Um,
Cool. Sounds fun.
so that's where I'm at.
Nice. You're
Trucking
still
along.
enjoying?
Yeah, and I can say like this game, and there's a couple other games on my list. Like the muscle memory, jumping back and forth, is ruining me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
At
we'll
this
talk
point,
about another game that like came out yesterday that I had so much trouble getting into because I had Elden Ring muscle memory, and it's similar enough but different.
well, that one's Tunic. We'll get to that in a second. That
Yeah.
one I didn't have too much problems. My other game on my list, Young Souls, that one I had a real trouble
Oh yeah.
getting through. That one really messed me up. And at this point, I pretty much put Horizon down. I will get to Horizon
When you
when
can.
there's an opening.
Yeah.
It's just too much to juggle, especially with next week coming around. So
Yeah. Yeah, next week's going to be brutal. Um so another thing I kind of wanted to quickly touch on, a giant patch came out I think yesterday for Elden Ring, which
yep.
added an NPC, just straight up added a bunch of quest stuff for existing NPCs, fixed a whole bunch of bugs, and maybe most importantly, fixed one of my main weapons in the game that apparently wasn't scaling properly. So that's annoying to figure out after finishing.
After beating it, oh okay, sure.
But
I was hearing
yeah.
a lot of people were upset about the mimic getting like nerfed.
Yeah, the Mimic apparently got nerfed. So did Hoarfrost Stomp. which is a spell that a lot of people use because it was admittedly apparently broken because a lot of people were using it.
Okay, I hadn't heard as much complaints about that one. And a friend of mine was like, "I've tried Mimic after the patch; it still seems fine," which I was
Oh,
happy to hear because I hadn't gotten Mimic yet, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm about to get something really good."
cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, and on the topic of patch notes, I have here Vampire Survivors because that had a couple patches since I played it last. The last time I talked about it, maybe a month ago, and every time they patch that game, they add a bunch of achievements and usually or a new character or two and combinations for items. So I jumped back into that game. That game's still fantastic, and I just love jumping back in and doing the new thing and seeing what new things that they've added. So that's been really, really cool. I've gotten a lot of bang out of my buck for like, I think that was a $2 buy on Steam. That's been a fantastic game. So that's still good. Another game that I quickly took a look at was Core Keeper, and that's because that looked like Stardew Valley to me, and I was a little, I wouldn't say uninterested, but less interested from what I saw of it when it's come up in like people talking about it. And then I heard somebody say it's actually more like Terraria, and that just like triggered me into gear, and I just jumped in. And yeah, it is very much like Terraria, where it has kind of a boss progression and progression in items that you have to build and base building and NPCs and all that sort of stuff. It's very early access still, but that looks like it's going to be something pretty fun by the end, like pretty full and fun by the end. I had a few hours of fun with it the other night, so that's a good one too.
Right on.
We should talk about Tunic though, because that came out yesterday, and it continues on the trend of this year for me of just games that don't tell you jack shit, and you just like have a great time learning as you go.
Yeah, this came out like I'm not gonna say like stealth dropped, but I was very much under the impression that is not a Game Pass game.
Yeah, I
And
almost
then it
pre-ordered it because I didn't think it was a Game Pass game, but you couldn't on Steam. I couldn't buy it early.
yeah, I think it was just like wish list.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, because I had like, I was looking forward to it and I knew it was coming soon, so I was trying to like look up, hey, is this on Game Pass? What is the price of this? And I was seeing articles saying no, it is not Game Pass. And then yesterday, uh, Xbox had one of their ID at Xbox streams, and
Okay.
then they launched uh, Tunic right at the beginning of it on Game Pass, and that was a fun surprise for
That's
sure.
awesome. Yeah.
To touch on your first point of the amount of information it gives you, I would say this gives you more than like Elden Ring certainly does, for sure. Um,
Well, it's just not obfuscated in the same way. Elden Ring gives you information if you like crack the weird code of how NPCs talk.
sure. This one, like, it's not spelling things out for you, but it does have a really cool feature.
Yeah.
For those who haven't played it, you're finding pages around the environment, and you hit like select to open up the book that you're slowly piecing together, and the pages are not in order. They give little bits of information, and all the text in the game is in a foreign language, so you can't read anything. But with the visuals, you can kind of get a feeling for like, oh wait, this is telling me that there is like, something in that direction, or it tells me that if I see this icon, it means this is a bomb or something like that. And you're finding more pages, and it's kind of filling in the blanks. And it's cool because you'll realize, oh, that place I passed. Oh, if I had just like held A for 3 seconds there, it would have done something. But why would I have known to do that
Yeah.
until I had found this page?
And then
So
you go
I'm really
back and
curious
do
what
it.
like a speed run of this game would be, because it seems like all the mechanics are like available to you. You just don't know to use them.
It's crazy how well it's built. Yeah, there's so it's an in first of all, I guess for anybody who doesn't know at all what it is, this is a Legend of Zelda old style like adventure type game.
Yep.
Um but it's in an isometric 3D perspective, and it utilizes that in a really fun way where there's a lot of shortcuts back to different areas and stuff, and they are always open, a lot of them. You just don't know they exist until you go through the normal way and then like come out the shortcut way, and you're like, holy shit, if I had gone in the shadow area and walked for like a second, I would have gotten to that end area or something. It's really, really awesome how it's built out that way. And the instruction booklet thing, it was super cool from just seeing like the fun pictures. It's also done in like the old like literal Legend of Zelda instruction booklet like type cartoons and stuff like that. Very similar art style.
Yeah, like Zelda 1.
Zelda
Yeah.
1, yeah. And but like this one also has some like somebody was drawing in the booklet like with a pen, and that's also like giving you some little answers or hints to stuff.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, no, it is basically like the full nostalgia of like, look at this old pamphlet, like user manual that came with my game and the notes section and whatnot, and it's almost like you're coming back to that.
yeah. It's super like for an example, that's how you get your maps for like the different dungeons and places or whatever. It's kind of like an overworld overview of a map or whatever. And on one of them there might be a line drawn around in like a squiggly thing or whatever and a few X's or whatever. And then you don't realize what that is until you get to that part. It's like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to walk that, like maybe that's the safe way through. Maybe that's like an item. Maybe those are enemies. It's super, super cool how it gives you information and kind of drip feeds you in that way. My only problem I had with Tunic, and I got over it after a couple hours, is there is a distinct like when you're attacking, then there's a second between your attack is animation is over and you can roll out of the way. You cannot roll out of an attack immediately, and that was
Can't
weird to get
cancel it.
used to. Yeah.
That was usually get used to. Yeah, that specifically, because when I'm playing this and I'm immediately outside of the Zelda comparison, I'm comparing it to Death's Door from
Sure.
last year,
Yep.
which is again a Zelda like from the exact same perspective. You're also an anthropomorphized animal with a sword.
Uh-huh.
Like, I almost feel like because Tunic was in development for so long, Death's Door came out and they were probably like, oh shit,
There's
they
two of
swooped
us
us.
doing this game, so we can
Yeah.
do it twice as fast.
But Death's Door, I feel like the combat is better because it is
It is.
snappier in the
Yeah.
way that you just said how Tunics is not as snappy. Tunics is good. It is totally
It's okay.
fine.
Yep.
But after having done Death's Door, it's like, oh, I know how this would have been just like a bit better. Um,
Yeah.
so it
Um
is what it is.
yeah, no, for sure. I think in a world where games that play similarly didn't do that type of combat better, it's totally still fine. Also, when you get the shield eventually, you find that the shield is usually better anyways because it takes depending on what attacks you're dodging or whatever, it takes up less stam to just tank an attack with a shield than it is to dodge out of the way because the dodging takes a lot more. Um, that's another mechanic that was weird to get used to is the only thing your stamina gets eaten up by is your defensive abilities, being able to run or to dodge out of the way, dodge, roll, or whatever, and put your shield up. But the drawback of using too much of it is that if you go into like a tired state, you take 150% damage, which
Yeah,
is
you take more damage.
which is crazy deadly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. They're also like super. So far, I've played like 2 to 3 hours of it so far.
Did you do
Um,
the first? It's not the first. Did you ring both bells like the first
yes.
like objective? Yeah, okay. I think we're probably at the same point ish then.
So I've done like one like boss.
Yes, right. The
Yeah.
one in
So
the
I
like
yeah
east, no, the west or something. Yeah,
west.
the
Yeah.
west. Yeah,
Um, you get tons of like healing items, and they get pretty powered up. Like I have 4 of them, and they heal like 2 blocks per drink.
yeah,
So it's pretty. And it seems like are they just going to keep giving me a ton of these healing items? Because there's like I have 4. That's a lot, and I'm only a couple hours into the game.
yeah,
So it's pretty forgiving in that front.
yeah. The trade off is that if you do take a hit, it hurts. You do take a lot of damage, but I mean, you can get it back pretty easily. Uh, I'm trying to think if there. I really like just kind of figuring out what things do. Like you said, the weird like if I hold this button for a certain amount of time, I'll do this thing, and that's how you like do this other thing. There's been, and then if you do that thing, it unlocks another thing that you're just like, okay, let's see where this leads or whatever. Like, let's see what that did. And I really like that feeling of discovery that this game does.
And
It
it
feels
definitely makes you like once you find that page and you realize, oh wait, I could have interacted with all those things back there. Well, I got to go like back to the start and run through everything again and see what I was missing. So yeah, no, the discovery is very cool for sure.
and you'll find an item that you're just like, this seems useless, and then you take a second to think. You're like, oh shit, what if I use this item on the well or whatever? Like,
Oh, you just gave me a hint because I had not thought about that.
okay,
Okay,
yeah, no,
so
there's
now
a lot of
try
those.
that.
I don't want to talk
Okay,
any more about like that sort of thing because well, again, half of the fun about talking about games is like the schoolyard thing of like, did you know if you did this, this happens? Like, oh,
yeah,
cool, I gotta go
yeah.
try, right? So this this definitely feels
Well,
like
because
that.
and you just did that. Like I need to go try that because I've come across a bunch of wells and when I interact with them and it gives me some word in a foreign language and it's like, all right, whatever. But no, I do have a few items that it's like that would make sense with the well.
Or like, did you try praying at the hero's grave?
Oh, no, I
Yeah,
didn't. Nothing had
right.
told me. No,
Okay,
I didn't try that either. Okay, interesting,
that was interesting. What
interesting.
happened there?
Okay, now I just got to remember how to get back to the hero's grave.
Yeah.
So okay,
Oh, but okay, the combat in Death's Door way better. This has a map.
that for sure. This does have a map. And that was like the big thing with Death Door. But you know
Yeah,
what it comes down to though is like both these games are on Game Pass, so
yeah. Play both.
everyone wins. If you're a Game Pass subscriber, you just win. Just go play them both.
Play them both. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really liking Tunic. I think the music is absolutely fantastic. I wasn't feeling it at first, but then anytime I'm in like a dungeon area and it kicks in, it like I'm feeling it. I think the overworld is mediocre to okay. Like it's pretty standard, but then there's like some hard hitting parts when you're just in the middle of this completely black dungeon with just a little lantern light around you illuminating things. The lighting effects are insane in some parts
The
already.
lighting is super nice for sure. Yep.
Yeah, this is Tunic is like an absolute win. It's so good. I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. That's I mean, that's all I've been playing. Young Souls is on my list and downloaded. I haven't booted it up yet, but tell me about that game.
Yeah, this is the other game I've been playing this week. Another Game Pass
Yep.
joint. I played a demo of this game at PAX South the, the month before the pandemic hit.
Oh, weird.
Uh, yeah, I always thought like, where's that game? And yeah, I played that back then. What I didn't know at the time was the final PAX South, but Young Souls is a hack 'em slash
Hmm.
with only local co-op.
Oh,
Big sigh.
I guess that. I guess yeah. I didn't even assume there was any co-op really, but
Well, the whole point is you're like twins
yeah, I
and
thought
you
you
switch
switched
back and
between them.
forth.
Yeah,
You do switch between them if you're playing single player, which I'm playing single player.
yeah.
And it's you might even be like better if you're playing single player because they have the added bonus of when you take like a hit, you'll have a part of your health bar go down, and if you swap at that point, whoever's you're not playing as will begin to heal that chunk of health, which I'm assuming
Okay.
wouldn't happen if you're playing co-op because everyone's on
Oh,
screen at all times.
that was like Battletoads, remember? They had something similar where you would switch between the three of them, and if one was getting down, you could switch to another one that had a full health bar, and then like pick up the health with the other toad that like was running out. But if you played co-op with two other people, they were all on the screen, so, and if one of them you died, they just were dead or whatever.
I mean, I guess it's a good balance because
Yeah,
if multiple people are on the screen, you can do more damage and stun them faster
totally.
versus now you have a way to kind of heal a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a hack and slash with a pretty kind of cool dungeon crawling aspect to it. You're going into different dungeons. There's like four, it looks like, and each section of the dungeon like branches out. So you'll kind of get to like a little hub area, and it'll be like there's like four doors here, and the doors will have different like levels on them to be like, hey, you should probably be this level to go through it. There will also be like you need specific keys to get through them. So you actually do go back to later dungeons, to or sorry, earlier dungeons to see different parts of it. You can have a bit of where you want to go, how hard you want it to be. If you just kind of want to progress naturally, there's always like one for your current level, and they obviously know how much experience they're giving you and whatnot. So you know, unless you're wanting to just randomly grind, you could try and out level it, but it doesn't really make much sense.
Sure.
The progression is pretty fun because you're getting lots of items and armor and whatnot, and you can upgrade every bit of weapons you have. And then as you upgrade them, they get different abilities and whatnot. So, like, I've had swords that when I have enough mana built up, which you get mana by doing damage, I could summon 2 dogs that would help fight with me.
Okay.
Versus you can get ones where you get like an unblockable, like a swing of your axe. So you can
Okay.
mix and match that way, and then there's different armors that are like, this is good against poison, this is good against freeze. So you can kind of like equip each of your people differently and be like, okay, if I'm going to fight a freezing enemy, I'm going to switch to the girl because she has like the anti-freeze armor on, and that'll be real useful, and yada yada. So yeah, you can basically upgrade everything, which is pretty cool. Has a pretty good look as well. You know, cell shaded pastels. I really like
I
the
like the art style.
characters.
Yep.
Yeah, the art style is pretty nice. I'm playing on Xbox. It doesn't run great. Specifically, like anytime I open the menus to like deal with like the I don't want to say like loot because it's not like colored items or whatever.
Okay.
But to deal with like your equipment, it's constantly hitching and freezing. I don't know what's up with that. So, you know, there's some performance issues for sure.
Hmm.
But the
That's a bummer.
game play, you know, when you're in the dungeons and you're battling and whatnot, that runs totally fine. Then, like I said, if you're playing Elden Ring at the same time, the controls are just complete nonsense because like your dodge is right bumper.
Yeah. Your dodge and
Uh,
tunic is A. Like they're all a
yeah.
different
Well,
button.
again, Tunic didn't screw me up because Tunic's is like a pretty standard control scheme, and then Elden Ring is not a standard control scheme, and then Young Souls is like another not standard control scheme. Like left bumper is switch character. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that it's just
There's some
juggling these is a
weird.
bad time.
Oh, tunic's menu being on left bumper is like screwing with my head all the time as well.
Yeah,
Actually,
at least that one, like when I'm pressing the like select button or
it
whatever,
just brings up
or
your
start, it like
thing.
pauses the game, so it's not
Yeah,
like a big deal.
totally. Sure. That's just
Um,
another thing I remember that I was like, oh, this is weird, and I'm not used to it after like 3 hours of playing.
that one is super weird. Yeah, left bumper for what is essentially like the inventory is unique for sure.
Yeah.
But it's good. I'm liking Young Souls. That game on how long to beat? That game is 20 hours long.
What?
Yeah, which real I
Oh,
was expecting like an 8 to 10. Like it looks like an 8 to 10. It is a 20-hour long game.
that's
I
crazy.
I'm on the third dungeon. I probably have put in like 12 hours. Um, because it's like surprisingly just like, oh, I could do like another branch of this dungeon because there's like so many different branches and whatnot, and it's like mindless enough to just kind of run through and beat them up. It's a great podcasting game, and the
Oh,
characters
sure.
have like a lot of personality. Um, to the point that they're just like some shitty teens, and in the menu you can turn off like all the bad cussing they do if you want.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah. One thing I actually don't like though that they do at the beginning is they say what difficulty would you like? And the middle one is balanced.
Okay.
But then there's four. So the
Oh,
second from the bottom is balanced. And then the one above it is challenging, and then in brackets it says recommended.
oh,
And it's
that
like,
that is bullshit. Yep.
how is that recommended if the other one is balanced?
Yeah, no, that's dumb.
um and then they have a bit of flavor text just to be like, Young Souls is meant to be like a challenge the way through. You know, you have to earn these wins and stuff, but it's like, so I selected balanced. Balanced sounds like good to me. That sounds like what I want. I want a balanced experience.
Yeah,
Um,
that is definitely a thing they should strive for
like
difficulty.
it's exactly like the shitty old school Halo of like, but the real Halo players play on this, and it's like, well then make like, what are you doing? Make
Then
that
make
the
that
default then.
default. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they got away from that in like the last few entries, but I feel like it's just stuck with them forever.
Mm, weird. Super weird.
Anyway, um, Tunic, Young Souls, they're both on Game Pass, so you should try them out.
Yeah, that's definitely the takeaway. I added one more thing here because I forgot I played it. I played the
Okay.
Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins demo.
I've been hearing such crazy weird stuff about this game.
So the one thing I want to say right off the bat is that if you're interested in that game and you only have a OG PS4, maybe don't get it. It is a complete garbage product on that thing. That demo ran like shit and it looked like shit at the same time. I've seen screenshots of people playing it on like modern hardware. The Xboxes, PS5, and PC looks fine. So maybe consider waiting or not getting it if that's your only option, or get it on something else if you have another option. Okay, Strangers of Paradise is Final Fantasy Neo, and it's super weird. It is very much the like Soulsy type. Like this is kind of difficult, and you have to know how to do the combat and utilize things properly to get through this, and dodges and parries and all that sort of thing. What I find interesting about it though is that it does the job system from Final Fantasy pretty fun, where you are consistently just leveling up different classes, whatever you want to play, and like there's different weapons and like armor sets and stuff that will help your affinity towards those classes, and you have to do classes to unlock more classes or whatever. So for example, if you want to unlock the warrior, you have to level up or put enough points into, I think it's the swordsman tree, and the whatever the starting one is, maybe knight or something, and then like that'll unlock the warrior class, like an advanced job. And I think that's super super interesting for this type of game, is that you don't just start as like a pyromancer or a paladin or a knight. You start off as like a dude who has a weapon and finds weapons,
You have
and
to
then
learn the blade.
yeah, you have to study the blade. And then as you get better with different stuff, you like unlock more and more perks for that, and you can switch between that and another loadout like at will using the triangle button as you're like battling. So you can have like kind of a mage type job set up on one build or whatever, and then the other one be like your melee things, because there are points where some enemies just straight up won't take like proper damage if they're not being doused with water, or like you're using a magic ability on, and then you can, when they're weakened, you can take them out with like melee stuff. That stuff is super super interesting. That writing is ridiculous, and I don't understand how that game is laid out, because I thought it would just kind of be like a big world that you walk around in and stuff, but the demo at least seems like it's all in menus rather than like there's a talk menu. So like when you're in town,
I heard about this one. Yeah.
you go to talk, and then it's like, this is a list of people that are in town that will talk to you. Okay, I want to talk to this person. What do you want to talk to them about? It's like, oh, I want to talk to them before I went to this place or whatever. And then it'll load up a cutscene, and they'll say like, boy, I sure hope you get chaos. It would be great to be like, to have some like calm around here again or something. And then it just goes back to the menu, and you're just like, why didn't you just build a hub with people standing around?
So I've heard this exact thing, and like the question is like, is that the same? And I know you can't answer it, but it's like, is it like that in the game? Maybe
That's what I wonder.
for the demo.
That's what I wonder too, because that would make sense. Not like, especially on PlayStation, because PlayStation downloading and installing is abhorrently bad still. It makes sense they wouldn't want you to download like 100 gig thing for a couple hours worth of content. So I don't know. Maybe if it's not like that, then sure. But I found that really, really funny.
A lot of this game seems really funny. It seems like a weird, like ironic joke that they're not in on. The vibes that I'm getting from hearing other people talking about it is like a deadly premonition. Like, this is not a good game, but they don't really know that.
Yeah, here's the thing, is that mechanically I find it very, very interesting. Like, I think the playing of it and the job system and all that sort of stuff I think is kind of cool. Those characters I couldn't give less of a shit about. I don't understand what the story is, except that Chaos needs to be dead, or like we need to kill Chaos or whatever. Chaos might be a person.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, they don't even know.
That's a nonsense statement.
At some point in the demo, they're like, "Oh, Chaos isn't a thing, a person or whatever." They're like, "No, not exactly." It's like, okay, then what are we doing here? There's one cutscene where like something big happens, And the main character just walks away and turns on his like little headphones or whatever, and just crappy 90s new metal music starts playing. And I'm just thinking that, like, is this a joke or like is this serious? Do they understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
That is a
I'm so curious about this game. There's no way I'd be able to touch this game for a while. But I do ask you, you played the demo, are you going to get the full game?
I would totally get it on like a sale or something.
Okay.
It's coming out at a real bad time for games right now. I think it is mechanically interesting enough that I would definitely give it a shot at the right price.
At the moment, like it's in the back of my head of like, maybe this will be like a Black Friday game.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'll get like a sweet deal on it.
Picking it up for like $20 or something. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I just felt like I had to add that in there because that was such a weird thing in the middle of this week to drop that I
I'm
tried.
glad you did.
Yeah.
With that, let's do some news. Not a whole lot happened, but I got a few stories here. First off, EA Play for the summer, also known as EA's E3 live stream, is not going to be happening this year.
Okay, that was super confusing. I couldn't remember what that was. Okay, yeah.
I think Microsoft has come out and said that they are going to be doing a like June time frame live stream. And it makes sense. They own like every company, so they'll have like an awesome one.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to see who else is going to do anything E3 related, but EA is not.
Okay, yeah. Fair.
Speaking of Microsoft, we got some like behind the scenes news from the Initiative, which is the developer who is working on whatever that Perfect Dark game is.
Oh. Okay.
And the news this week specifically is apparently a lot of the like heads of that studio and senior leadership has been departing in a quote unquote fast and furious wave over the past 12 months.
Oh. Okay, that doesn't bode well.
No, that does not bode well. I've been hearing quotes like the Initiative is pretty much going to have to like restart from the ground up as a company to like reorganize itself.
Oh my god.
One interesting quote though from this article over on Video Games Chronicle. All former employees that Video Games Chronicle spoke to said they were surprised at how lenient Microsoft had been over the lack of progress. Which is pretty interesting. The reporter here kind of went on to just say that they had heard this from several studios after Microsoft acquisitions, that Microsoft has like not cracked the whip in any way, which is great to hear.
Sure.
But yes, on the other side, who on earth knows what is happening with this game? And it sounds like it is in rocky waters, so we probably will not hear for a while.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting that at the bottom of that article it has the dev team that was working on it and then like a strikeout through all the people that left. So there's like a visual representation of what they've lost, and it's fucking crazy.
It's a lot of, yeah, like I'm briefly looking at it, like it's like over half.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah. Who knows, man? I don't.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you think? What do you want Perfect Dark to be?
I don't even know.
I think of it just seems like, oh, but we already have like a few games in that space that are really good.
Yeah, like I guess they could remaster and re-release it again. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, it seems like they were doing something new, right?
Yeah.
Because there was that like teaser trailer.
What was it? Perfect Dark Zero? Was that the one on 360?
Yeah, the launch one.
Yeah. And was that the last one?
That was the most recent one, and then we got a teaser trailer like a couple years back for whatever this one thing is.
Yeah, Zero was bad, so like they could kind of do anything to revitalize it, I would assume.
What do you want? Do you want it just to be like a single player first person shooter? You want it to be like a live service game?
Yeah, it's weird because like that style of game is kind of gone for a reason. Like there's a reason why there's not another GoldenEye.
Like, I think, like, what is this going to be like the new competitive multiplayer shooter? No.
Yeah,
Like, there's
probably
no
not.
way this is going to like make a dent anywhere, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like an immersive sim, maybe? Like, do you think it kind of tries to be like a Deus Ex?
That could be kind of cool. Yeah,
The
sure.
closest we probably had was like Deathloop, right?
Yeah, that could be kind of cool, especially because a lot of people were mad about how Deus Ex handled Deus Ex with the last one. So it'd be kind of neat to fill that role again. Some
There's an
weird like
idea.
cyberpunk, like future cyberpunk type world or whatever. Joanna in it, or her daughter or something. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm assuming it would still be Joanna. Like,
Yeah, probably.
this next story, there was a Dead Space live stream,
I missed
and they
this.
gave
Apparently, the audio in that game is going to be fantastic, though. There was like a whole breakdown of this weird, almost like ray tracing, but for audio.
yeah, I didn't watch the stream, but I did hear that they showed off some audio, so there is some definitely some like dev videos you can go out there and see. And then they also announced that it's aiming for early 2023.
Oh, yeah, sure. I guess I kind of assumed it would be later than 2022, but I do remember people being like, "Oh, it's not even coming out this year." But yeah, I thought it would be like 2024 or something. So I was kind of stoked to hear early 2023.
And this last story is kind of an interesting one. Famitsu, the Japanese game reporting establishment, basically put out kind of like a 20-year history of Xbox in Japan. So we hit the 20-year mark for Xbox specifically in Japan.
Okay,
And they
sure.
put out some sales numbers for each of the Xboxes to show how they've done, and it's pretty striking. Like we've all heard Microsoft and Xbox doesn't have much of a foothold in Japan,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look, and Paul, you have the article here. If you look at the thing, if you see units sold, there's a number. The bracket is the worldwide number. Every Xbox, let me say that again. Every single Xbox combined has sold less than 3 million units in Japan.
Oh wow. Okay. That
Just
is
think about that
crazy.
for a second.
Yeah.
All generations, all was that 5 of them? OG 361, I guess 4. All 4 of them combined less than 3 million units.
Yeah, that is insane.
I'll give you some other facts. 1.6 of those were all 360s.
Yes, I do see that here. 360 actually, I'm going to be real, it sold more than I even thought, but yeah, it's still low.
So if you take out the 360 sales, then that means the original Xbox, the Xbox One, the Series X and S have
Mhm.
only sold a little over 1 million themselves
Wow.
combined.
That's
Actually,
yeah,
sorry, I
crazy.
did my math completely wrong.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the numbers here right now.
Okay.
Original Xbox, about a little under 500,000 units total. Xbox 360, 1.6 million. Xbox One, a mere 114,000.
Yeah,
And
I
then the
noticed
Series
that.
X and S combined, 142,000. So we're looking at like, I don't know, 700,000 for everything, not including the 360.
Man, crazy.
That's like, yeah, there's no foothold at whatsoever. Like, I didn't know it was this bad. I knew it wasn't popular. I didn't know it was like just over 2 million units combined.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy to think about.
Yeah, no, it's super crazy. Sorry, I'm just reading the games here. The best-selling games for each one. I mean, it kind of makes sense, I guess, that on the 360, the best games are all the like RPGs and JRPG inspired and JRPG just straight up JRPG games. Uh Actually, the only thing that's kind of interesting is that Connected Ventures is pretty it's in
Yeah,
smack in the
well, for the
middle there.
360, I would say like the top half is pretty what you'd expect, a lot of JRPGs. The bottom half is like, okay, Forza Motorsport 2's in there. Okay, sure.
Yeah. I mean, Monster Hunter, Katamari, those make sense to me, and Biohazard obviously, but Ace Combat and Forza 2 were kind of like, "Oh, okay. Sure."
Then you look at like the Xbox One, and that's just a kind of a weird one because like Titanfall's at the top, followed by
Yeah.
Kinect Sports Rivals.
Yeah, this game list seems like, oh, this is expats that live or from America that live in Japan that bought
Well,
this
the other
that are
thing is
making
that
up
I feel
these.
like at this point it's maybe a lot of Japanese studios stopped putting out games on the Xbox One
Yeah, probably.
because there just wasn't much to pick from. That's what I think is actually what happened here.
I could see that, sure. Crazy.
Um, and then they don't really have the top selling ones for the X and S, the games.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But there you go. There's some sales figures on the Xbox in Japan.
Cool.
Let's do some news.
Questions?
If you'd like to send a question in, it's topdownrespected@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. And this first one comes in from Kevin. Would it be more interesting to have a conversation with someone who, A, has played every game ever, but has never completed anything? They've only ever played games halfway through and stopped.
Okay.
Or B, has played 50% of all games ever, and they completed all of the games they played.
Uh, for a podcast, it's probably one, but for a dude I just want to talk to normally or whatever, it's definitely two. If we share a same game that we've played through, I want to talk about the crazy shit that happens all the way through.
I kind of like the first one. I kind of like the idea of being able to just like any game I bring up, this person has some experience with it. So they'll know what I'm talking about. Like instead of me
Okay,
just
sure.
being like the weird guy who's like, "Oh yeah, no, I played this really obscure thing on this like handheld that only a few of us bought." It's the guy will be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about." And it's like, "Oh, finally, thank God, someone who knows something other than Mario Kart."
Sure. Fair enough. Yeah, I definitely think option two for me. But yeah, option one makes for a better like TDP, hands
For
down.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Let me twist the question. Which,
Okay.
if you had to be one of them,
Oh, two. Definitely two.
you would still want to be two?
Yeah. Some of my favorite parts about games are how they stick the landing or don't stick the landing. I really like seeing something through to the end and that feeling of finishing it.
True. I guess like two makes the most sense, and it's probably like what we're all technically closest to.
I mean, we pretty much, yeah, like 50% is a high number, obviously, because there's way too many games. But I would say you, me, and John are definitely
Well, I
closer
just
to
mean
that one.
in general, more people have not played every single game, but the games they have played, they probably finished them. Um,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
so but option one though, having all that knowledge of like every game, that'd be so cool. But I'm also wondering like, would it just be like a curse because you never get to finish a game, you never get to know how anything ends. It's like you have all this. It's like a weird Twilight Zone. You get all
Yeah.
the knowledge, but only half of it. You have half
Yeah.
of all the knowledge in the world.
Yeah. I was thinking that, like, if I want to be one of these, option one would probably be the better one because with the caveat that I hadn't completed anything yet or whatever. Like, if I could, if it's that you can never finish a game, that
I think
changes
it's
it.
never. I
Yeah.
think in this scenario, anytime a game comes out, you've like immediately finished half of it. But that's it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're not even actually playing it. You just are getting
Well, no,
fed the
you
information in
you
your
are, but I'm just
head.
I'm just trying to like make this kind of more transactional.
Yeah. I definitely would still prefer two. Two's just like the answer across the board, I think, in every way, especially if you're forcing it. The issue
I
of
think, yeah, I think the less crazy one is two.
yeah.
One is like a weird monkey's paw scenario that I will admit is very enticing.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting thought though. That is a good question. Let's see if Boca can top it with Nintendo Labo is having well, yeah, already off to a bad start. Nintendo Labo is having its 4-year anniversary next month. Is there something you think could still be done with it, or is it destined for the bin? I think it's for the bin, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one. Like I think Labo is cool. But the thing is, I've never purchased one for the sole reason of like building it would be really cool, but I don't want to do anything with it afterwards.
Yeah.
And at least with it basically becomes like Lego to me. I think Lego just looks nicer than a cardboard
I
structure.
was gonna say
You
you
know,
can at least like display Lego.
that's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
nothing with Labo that I want to display. Like, hey, look at this fishing rod I put together. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Don't show me this fishing rod.
What
What are
it
you doing?
actually is basically just cardboard Rock Band peripherals, just like in the closet somewhere. They're fun when you're playing with the thing for a little bit, but then it's like, what do I do with this drum set? What do I do with 3 of them? Why do I have 3 drum sets?
I'll tell you what you do. You have the one with the cymbals hooked up in your living room at all times because you know if you take it down, you're never putting it back together again. And you want to play some Rock Band in the future. And then your other 2 drum sets, they're up at your mom's place, and you're hoping she'll keep hanging on to them despite her moving out of the house soon.
That seems oddly specific. But you're right, because I did take mine down, and I haven't played Rock Band since.
Right, and you miss it every week probably. You
I
think
don't
to yourself at least once a month, I could be playing Rock Band right now.
I don't actually think about it at all. But if I do think about it, it makes me a little sad remembering when I used to play it and be like,
There you go.
that's
See,
fun.
that's why you always need to have a set of Rock Band drums like within arm's reach.
Yeah.
That's living.
Yep, that's life.
Labo is not living.
Yep, that's true.
So okay, back to Labo. They to make it better, they'd have to make it look cooler or make it more intricate that I'd want to display it. And
Yeah.
I feel like you're getting rid of some of the like game part of it, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't really even want to play the like the on the TV game part of it. I just want to like build the kit, and they have those.
Yeah.
And they're not called Nintendo Labo.
Sure. It's called papercraft.
Papercraft, or it's Lego.
Actually,
or it's model
papercraft is
kit
more
making.
displayable.
Yeah,
Papercraft
like,
is actually more like Lego than Labo.
I don't know, man.
Okay,
I
this
don't
is what you do with it. On every single piece of cardboard, you print a QR code, and that QR code is an NFT. It is a token that
Okay.
will appreciate in value at some point, and then one day you sell it. Basically, they make NFTs with Labo. That's how you revitalize it. Or steal a bunch of people's money. Either way.
Okay. Yeah, this is not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, if you want to steal people's money, it's the best idea.
Oh, I guess that it's a pretty good way. Yes. You don't even need the cardboard for that though.
Oh, you're saying I can steal people's money without giving them a product? Do tell.
I don't know. I think Labo is like, I want to like rent Labo from a library. I want to rent
Yeah.
an untouched Labo, and then I want to be able to bring it back somewhere and be like, thank you, I enjoyed my 2 hours of building this thing. Please take it away from me because I don't want to put it in the recycling bin myself.
Yeah. I will pay you to throw this out for me and to take it.
Yeah. No more Spiro's rights. I guess it's a would you rather.
Mm-hmm.
AI that's impossible to lose to, or AI that's impossible to win against. I feel like the easy answer is the first one.
It is. I'm just trying to think of the monkey's paw scenario again. Because, yeah, it's obviously... So the AI that's impossible to lose to doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like a pushover all the time. It just means that at the end you're not going to lose. So, in fact, I bet a lot of games out there fake an AI that is impossible to lose to in a situation to make you feel intense.
Yes. So I mean, the immediate question is like, how much fun is the AI that
Yeah.
you can't lose to going to be? And it's like if they hide it well enough, it's okay.
If they hide it well enough, it's probably most games on the market that are popular.
Yeah, like I mean, we were just talking about Rock Band. They have like a no fail mode, but it's still fun to play with that on because there's still a challenge there to it. You just the game won't stop. So as long as they've kind of put in enough other things to it, like maybe like a scoring system, I'm thinking maybe like a Devil May Cry or whatever. It's like now the challenge becomes, can I get that triple S rank?
There are like literal horror games where something's chasing you, and if you stop and just like look at it, it just won't kill you. It's just there to like scare you into running or whatever through a part.
Sure, yeah. So there's a bit of buy-in from the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, don't look behind the curtain. Of course it's not going to be, the mystery is the fun part.
Yeah. Impossible to
The
win
AI
against is the
impossible to win
worst.
against. I don't know why you would pick that.
Yeah.
Even if you like challenge, it's a challenge you can never win. So there's not even the like satisfaction of like I overcame this, because you can't.
It's actually boring because you cannot do it ever. Yeah. You can't
So
even
now I'm
hide it.
thinking like, is that the equivalent of like going to the gym? Because like you'll never win. You will never win. There will always be a heavier weight you could be lifting up. But I
Sure.
really like going to the gym and lifting weights.
Sure.
So maybe there is something to that.
Maybe you're the AI that's impossible to lose to by going to the gym.
Thank you?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe the
I'm gonna pick
Phantom
the first one.
Maybe the Phantom Aegis knows because they write in and say, "Ahoy TDP crew. You are given an opportunity to have a portrait made through a painting, but there's a catch. You have to choose who gets to paint you in their own special way. Would you choose Vincent van Gogh, Salvador Dali, or Pablo Picasso?" Out of these three, Van Gogh is my favorite of these three, but I think Dali would make the more interesting painting, so I would go that.
I was gonna say Dali too. His paintings are just
I love
super
him.
weird, and I would just like to see what that looks like.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see your portrait as a Picasso, like see yourself in a weird cubist form. It
I
wouldn't
feel
look
like
like you though.
both the Picasso and the Van Gogh would probably be aesthetically pleasing enough that I could actually like put it on a wall. The Dali one might not look very great,
Yeah,
but it might be. But it would be so weird. It's like, oh, this
that's
is
what makes it exciting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. BGC Kenny writes, one day you get a call from Disney. They tell you that they will buy the podcast and pay you 1.5 times your current salary to keep doing the podcast, with the added benefit of if you want a bit part in any upcoming Disney movie, show, what have you, it's yours. The catch: before this deal can go into effect, you each have to stream yourselves beating every Kingdom Hearts game on the collection version. So if the game in question has a theater mode, it's fine. You
Okay.
can space out when you do each game, but once you start, you can't stop streaming until you hit credits. Do you take the offer?
Oh, that's fucked.
I don't think it's physically possible.
Yeah, I don't actually remember what the hours are. Let me quickly look them up, but I'm going to say that I think my health is worth a little more than like staying up for 63 hours straight.
Is that for all of them?
That's for one of them.
So yeah, so that's impossible because now you're going to multiply that by what, like 6 or
Oh,
whatever?
that's completionist. If we just have to do main story, 30 hours.
Okay, 30 hours, and there's it's every Kingdom Hearts game. Yeah, so there's like what, 6 or so of those, like main line ones.
Okay, here's the
if we're
thing.
allowed to not include like random mobile nonsense.
Here's the thing. I would take this deal and then I would actually like study how to get through it quickly. I bet I could do it in 20 hours. I've definitely streamed a game for 20 hours before. Just
But
like
you have to do all of them back to back.
No, you can space them out between them, but you have to finish
Wait,
one
it
at a
doesn't say that.
Yeah, it does. It says right there. It says you can space out when you do each game, but once you start a game.
I assumed that meant while you're playing, you're allowed to like mentally space out.
Well, that would definitely happen.
Like you're allowed to, like, I don't know, put on a movie and just kind of like grind or whatever.
But no, it's when you start one game, you have to finish that whole game, but you don't have to do them back to back.
Okay, in that scenario, even if it was 30 hours, I think I would do it. I could do
Yeah.
it. Like that's a little over a day. That's fine. I do those, like, you do that like once every couple months. You're done in a year. Boom.
Yeah.
Now you're set.
Yeah. 1.5
Yeah.
times your current salary to keep doing the podcast alone, with even without the like you could be in like an MCU thing as a bit part or whatever perk. Like all I have to do is play 6 games or whatever. Like every week I do one of them and I sleep for the other 5 days or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think it's doable. Sure.
Yeah. Dead writes, what do you look for most in a rhythm game? Why do some... Oh, I guess this is part of the question. Why do some rhythm games stand out to you personally? Examples, Elite Beat Agents, Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Rock Band. I think this is as simple as the music list in it.
Well, yeah, I don't know the music list because I feel like as the Rock Band games went on, the music list did not matter because the DLC was more important and being able to transfer my exports was more important
Yeah, but that's sorry. I meant just like the music in it in general.
in the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I played through Elite Beat Agents once, and like that was it because I didn't care about any of those weird tracks or mashups or anything that they did.
So that's my opposite. Is Elite Beat Agents. I don't care about a lot of those songs, but the like visuals and stories they put in there, I thought
Okay.
were fantastic. Like where the dad comes home from the dead on Christmas Eve because you guys danced well enough. That's fantastic.
Well, that got me in there and that got me through it, but like that, I didn't play it again because I don't care about the music. And for me, the music is definitely the most important thing.
I think there's different rhythm games will do different stuff. Like, is
Yeah.
there a rhythm game where I liked the music enough that I like went and like put it on my phone,
Mm,
or is it a game that I just wanted to play and stuff and like that? So it's like for Rock Band for me, it's like I just enjoy the act of playing it, and I'll even play genres I'm not interested in when I'm playing Rock Band because I just like playing Rock Band as a thing. Similar with Elite Ages, it had the crazy story mode, and that's just a fun thing to do. But
sure.
and then there's stuff like DJ Hero, which yes, also fun to play, but some of those like new mashups I put on my phone.
Sure. For me, it's always the song. I won't play songs in Rock Band I don't like.
I think for me it's the gameplay because for like if when the rhythm game comes out, I like don't need to look up the track list. I'll be like, there, I'm sure there's something in there for me. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to play the game. And last question from Hebrew Lantern: if you had to be a criminal, what crime will you commit? Felonies or major misdemeanors only?
I would, if I had to be one, I would probably like open up my neighbor's mail and say it was an accident, but it's still a federal crime. So
Is there like a story behind that, or
no, it
you
just
just
seems
think
like
like
the easiest thing to get away with without like maybe serving hard time or the chair.
I think I would definitely try and steal money from some one percenters.
Okay, like oh yeah, like cybercrime or taking like rounding out the fraction of cents into a offshore bank account or something.
Like an Office Space thing.
But like you wouldn't go
Um,
in with a gun and like rob a place. That's too far.
no, absolutely not. And
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
trying to hurt anyone. But like, hey man, I'll like you got 3 boats. I'll steal one of your boats.
Okay.
I would hope that I'm a Robin Hood figure.
What if you like because of your antics, you really set like riots into motion? It's like, yeah, he's got the right idea. Let's kill the rich and people actually
I'm not
uprise.
killing anyone. No, 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 no. Like they're taking it too far, but
Yeah.
using my as an image.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's just a picture of you on people's shirts as they're like doing horrible, getting the guillotines ready.
yeah. Oh, let's hope not.
Yeah.
That's it for questions. If you want to send in questions next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
I'm gonna give it to Elden Ring again.
Me too.
Yeah.
And with that, if you're a TDP listener, the Batman episode went up earlier this week, so go check that out if you want to have some of that movie spoiled or to hear our thoughts. And like I mentioned last week, the submission thread for April's TDP Plus poll is live for one more week. So if you have not submitted a game yet, do that sometime in the next 7 days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.